thing, bro!
Alright guys, buckle up because today we're diving into a story that feels less like a normal internet saga and more like watching a raccoon discover a slot machine in a gas station at 3 a.m. And somehow, the raccoon has Wi-Fi and a Twitch account. Today's main character is Boss Man Jack, also known as Austin Peterson. Now, if you've never heard of this guy before, congratulations. Your brain cells have been living a peaceful life. But if you spent even 5 minutes in the darker corners of live stream clip compilations, you've probably seen this man experiencing emotional swings so violent they make a roller coaster look like a gently sloped wheelchair ramp. This is a man who treats gambling the way medieval knights treated dragons, except instead of slaying the dragon, he runs directly into its mouth, hands it his wallet, and then asks chat for bus fare home. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's rewind a bit. Back in the ancient era of the internet known as 2019, Austin started out as a humble streamer playing Runescape. Now for those of you who didn't grow up clicking trees for 12 hours to gain one wood cutting level, Runescape is basically a fantasy world where people grind skills, fight monsters, and occasionally develop financial problems involving imaginary gold. Austin streamed under the name Austin07, which sounds like the kind of username you make when every other name you wanted was taken by someone who hasn't logged in since 2006. At first glance, everything seemed pretty normal. Guy streaming RuneScape, talking to chat, living the digital dream. But very quickly, he developed a reputation in the RuneScape community, and not the good kind. Not the, wow, that guy is a legendary player reputation, more like the hide your wallet when he logs in kind of reputation. See, RuneScape has this thing called dueling. Two players fight, they both put up gold as a bet, and the winner takes everything. It's basically the medieval fantasy version of two dudes slapping their credit cards on a blackjack table. And Austin loved this, not casually, not recreationally. This man treated RuneScape duels like it was the stock market and he was trying to short sell his own life savings. The problem is that confidence and skill are two very different things, and Austin had confidence in the same way a guy wearing socks with sandals has confidence, which is to say, aggressively misplaced. So naturally, he started losing. A lot. And when normal people lose their in-game money, they do something logical like stop betting, maybe go fish in the river for a bit, reevaluate their life choices. Austin looked at losing all his gold and said, you know what would fix this? Debt. Before long, he owed other players massive amounts of RuneScape gold. And I'm talking numbers that sound ridiculous until you realize they actually translate to real money. At one point, he owed something like 1 billion gold, which roughly translates to a few $100s. Now, for most adults, that's annoying but manageable. For Austin, this might as well have been the GDP of a small island nation. But here's where the pattern starts forming. Because instead of stepping away, instead of saying, maybe gambling isn't my calling, he doubled down. Every time he got any amount of money, $5, $10, the loose change equivalent of a Taco Bell combo meal, it immediately went back into betting. And this, ladies and gentlemen, was the birth of a cycle. A cycle so predictable that if it were a Pokemon move, it would have 100% accuracy. And once online casinos entered the picture a few years later, that cycle didn't just get worse, it evolved into something truly spectacularly disastrous. Once the door to online casinos swung open, the situation didn't just escalate, it turned into a full-blown psychological science experiment. Except the lab rat had access to Wi-Fi, a streaming platform, and a credit card that probably started sweating every time he opened his browser. Around the time gambling content started exploding on live stream platforms, our guy Boss Man Jack discovered a new playground, crypto casinos. One of the big ones people constantly talk about is Stake, which basically functions like a normal casino, but with extra steps, digital coins, and the same level of financial danger as lighting your paycheck on fire while hoping it multiplies. This is where the legendary pattern begins. I like to call it the Boss Man cycle. And honestly, if scientists ever study gambling addiction in the future, they might just slap his streams into a university textbook. Step 1 is the win. And when I say win, I mean the man reacts like someone just told him he personally discovered the cure for gravity. The moment those flashing lights pop up on the screen, his brain releases enough dopamine to power a small amusement park. You'll see him screaming, celebrating, pacing around the room like he just defeated the final boss of capitalism itself. arms in the air, yelling at chat, acting like the lottery gods just knighted him with a sword made of pure financial responsibility. For a few beautiful moments, everything is sunshine and victory. You can practically hear the internal monologue going, "Ladies and gentlemen, I have cracked the code. Casinos fear me."
I can't stop saying it. Oh my God, yo! Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, holy, oh my God, 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 yo, oh my God, I'm debt free, I'm debt free, I'm fucking debt free, I'm fucking debt free! It's been months, it's been months, it's been months out this mother. It's been months out.
To be fair, this is the exact psychological hook casinos rely on. That quick burst of success convinces the brain that you've discovered a secret formula. It whispers sweet little lies like, "See, you're not losing money, you're investing." But here's the catch. Winning is just the appetizer, because immediately after that comes step 2, the loss. And when the losing begins, it's like watching someone sprint downhill with no brakes while holding a sack of money with a giant hole in it. Instead of stopping while he's ahead, he keeps spinning over and over. Bigger bets, faster bets, the digital equivalent of flooring the gas pedal while the engine is already on fire. The balance starts dropping. 5,000, 3,000, 1,000. At this point, a normal person might say, "All right, we had a good run." Not here. No, no, no. Here, the strategy becomes what I like to call financial cliff diving. He continues pressing the button like it personally insulted him. Chat starts panicking. People are typing things like "stop" or "walk away." And that's when the tension begins building, because viewers know exactly what's coming.
I just lost it all. I just lost it all. I'm going to steal all your motherfucking money. I'm gonna take all your money. Keep on spending on me. I'll take it all. I'll take it all. I'll take it all for free. Bitch, shut the fuck up and pay me. No. Oh my God, dude. What the fuck? I just lost everything, bro. I lost everything. Come on, green. Green would be fucking crazy, dude. Come on, red or green, red or green, red or green, red or green. Come on, red. No way, I just lost it all. Congratulations, Austin, you're a fucking loser. No, I lost it all.
You see, every single stream eventually arrives at the same magical moment, the moment where the balance hits zero. And when that happens, the emotional shift is so violent it could probably register on a seismograph. The celebration disappears instantly. The room goes from Vegas victory speech to man discovering his car has been towed in about half a second. You'll hear phrases like, "Bro, I just lost everything." The way he says it isn't dramatic either. It's that hollow, stunned tone like someone just watched their sandwich fall face down on the floor in slow motion. But unfortunately, the story doesn't end with sadness, because once the money is gone, that's when the real chaos starts. Furniture begins trembling. Walls start fearing for their structural integrity. And somewhere in the background, you might hear a parent wondering why their house suddenly sounds like a WWE steel cage match. Because when the losses hit hard enough, Bossman Jack's rage mode activates, and the room becomes the final boss. But that meltdown phase is an entirely different spectacle, and it somehow manages to get even more absurd from here. Because when Bossman Jack realizes the money is gone, the meltdown doesn't arrive slowly. It drops out of the sky like a cartoon piano. One second he's staring at the screen in disbelief, and the next second the room turns into a live-action physics experiment about how many household objects can survive an adult man having the world's worst temper tantrum. Chairs get launched, desks get slapped, doors suddenly become enemies of the state. It's like watching a WWE backstage fight, except the opponent is drywall. And the wildest part? This is happening in his parents' house. Imagine you're just trying to enjoy a quiet evening at home. Maybe you're microwaving leftovers, watching some TV, living a peaceful life. Then suddenly, from down the hallway, you hear what sounds like a rhinoceros learning karate. That's the stream. Somewhere in the background, you'll occasionally hear a voice, usually his dad, basically saying the parental equivalent of, please stop destroying the house, which is a very reasonable request. Unfortunately, reason is not exactly the dominant energy during these moments. Instead, you'll hear something along the lines of, "I'll clean it up later," while a door panel is currently being converted into modern art.
Dad! I'll clean it up! I'll clean it up! Can you stop? Dude, my dad's telling me to stop, bro. What?
What are you doing?
I told you guys already. I already told you.
This is not done in anger?
No. You can ask my chat. Dad, stop. Man, shut the fuck. Yo, shut up, man. This is fucking bull.